What is your advice on transcending or overcoming some of the seemingly intolerable emotions, physical and mental sensations, for example, trauma, pain, crippling memories that arise during meditation? How can I persevere through this discomfort? Are you talking about just during meditation? These things come up? Your depression come up, your fear, your anxiety, and all that come up during meditation. As a matter of fact, they don't come up just during meditation. They come up when you are not meditating too. They come up all the time. And to some people, they may be more obvious during meditation. To some people. So if you ask, how do I transcend this? Overcome some of the seemingly intolerable emotions. All these, we call them emotions in common English, and we call them kleshas in the Pali language or Sanskrit language. They are actually mental afflictions that have been accumulated not only in this life, they have been accumulated through our previous lives too. Sometimes it's good to use an analogy to explain the Buddhist teaching. Imagine that you are working in an office very, very long time. I mean, comparably to what we're talking about for lives, for many lives. You've been working in an office for a very long time, and you have been accumulating a lot of dirt and dust and all that in your office. You haven't been organizing. You have been working in that office for a long time. And meditation is like setting up a crew of janitors. The janitor is going to clean up your office for you. And how much dirt is in your office? You haven't been cleaning it for millions of years. And you've been accumulating all this dirt and dust in your office. Dirt and dust from the atmosphere, dirt and dust that you created, all these junk files that you put in there that you never clean up, and the files belong to 1990 that you haven't cleared. All these things have been built up since many years ago. I'm using an analogy. These are actually all our emotions in our brain, in our brain office. Our brain is like an office. In our brain office, been building up and building up. Now you are sending messages to build up a team of janitors. That is to say, your meditation. And whenever they come in, they clean it up for you. They try to clean it up for you. And then when the janitors come in, they say, hey boss, you got to go away first. Because if you're in the middle of my job, how can I do it? So first of all, you have to stop what you're doing. And some people can never stop what they're doing. So when the janitor's trying to clean it, it's dust all over the place. They use bleach, they use whatever scrub and all that. They're creating more odors than before. They're scrubbing the floor, cleaning up your toilet, and it seems that to you, when you're working you're still working in the office, and this janitors are working in there, the washroom stinks because you scrub up all the dirt in the toilet. All these things, you think, you're coming to create dirt. He's coming to clean it up for you. But it seems to be he's creating more dirt for you. So in your meditation, you realize more about your own shortcomings. The janitors are scrubbing and all these things, producing a lot of odor. But they are helping you to be aware of what you've got in there. So to you, all this dirt and dust will accumulate on the ground and they never get rise up into the air, and you're working in spite of all these. But now it's more and more show up. The vacuum cleaning. Well, vacuum cleaning, noisy. It's noisy, it's odorous, it's people are barging into your privacy. You don't like it. That's exactly what you're doing in there. you have all the traumas, you have all the crippling emotions. They are scrubbing up your past memories. All your greediness, your hatred, your jealousy, your grief, your agony, all of a sudden become obvious in the meditation. Because the jhanas have been scrubbing up those for you to clean them away. Some people may not be used to it. Some people go crazy. And when they go crazy, some people, you won't go crazy when you just meditate to 15 minutes per day or even 1 hour per week. Because you haven't even started. In other words, those janitors are just cleaning at the door for you. They never have come in. It doesn't affect you. You just meditate for 5 minutes per day, 15 minutes per day, nothing would affect you. But if you allow the janitors to come in and clean it up really thoroughly for you, it starts to hurt you, then you start to know about it. So the average people just taking meditation as a kind of yogi exercise, doing it for 15, half an hour per day, nothing will affect you. You are a kindergarten, so to speak. You are just kindergarten. Nothing would affect you. Only for those who really concentrate on it, who really uphold the practice of meditation, practicing for 2 hours per day, every day, really get deep into the subtle consciousness level. Then the janitors start to show up. Then you know all the problems. And some people call them people who really concentrate on it and get problems. They call it Zen sickness. And some people call it Kundalini sickness. So if you get deeper and deeper in meditation, it's not that easy. You get into problems. So don't just go to people who teach you holding a book in this hand. No, this is step number 1, cross your legs. Step number 2, put your palms together. Step number 3, pay attention to your belly button. They're holding up a book to show you how to meditate, and you can't go by that. You need someone who've gone through the troubles. You need someone who come up from the mountaintop down to you, and you say, where is the mountaintop? I've been there. This is where you go. If you ask someone who haven't been to the mountain, he's just roaming around in here, he does not know. He's just, where's the, I don't know, this is a map going up that way. You need someone who's really experienced. And that's the reason why when you start to do meditation deeper and deeper and deeper, there could be problems too. And some people call it the dark side of meditation. Meditation is not just a rosy garden that every day is rosy, every day is sunny. It's just like the weather. It's just like anything in this world. You think doing a business is rosy every day? You think people who become so successful, they all sail through every day? They run into big, huge problems. When I was in Toronto, I saw people who got bankrupt for 5 times. They failed, they got bankrupt. And finally, he became successful because he never gave up. There are people who just bankrupt 1 time and he never get up again. And there are people who haven't even tried. So you got to go through storms. In order to be a seafarer, what do you call it? You really have to go through the storm. Life is storm. Life is not always a rosy garden. I don't know what have you tasted so far. If you're a teenager, I have a teenager a few years ago when I talk about suffering. I have a teenager there, maybe 17, 18, studying first year at UBC, and with her boyfriend sitting there eating. I still remember. I still have an image of that girl with her boyfriend. When I talk about suffering, and then I have the callousness of trying to get questions in the middle of my talk. Now I realize that I have to wait my talk finished before any questions. And then I said, any questions, talking about suffering, and she raised her hand and said, I don't agree. Life is beautiful. Life is happy. I don't have any suffering. And then, when I heard that answer, I said, I got trouble because I have to explain suffering. My topic was not on suffering. Now all of a sudden this question about suffering come up, then I have to use at least half an hour to explain suffering. So I was sort of get lost, a little lost. Should I spend, my topic is not on suffering, should I spend another half hour just to talk about suffering or just let this lady go, And then I don't even have to say it. They left immediately. I said, we cannot leave in the middle of a meal, but he just put down the plate and bang the door with her boyfriend, and they left. And then later, I know that she got friends in here too. And somehow the friends released to me, and she said, the girl was in a very rich family. The parents make a lot of money, and the parents bought a big house for her at Sonnesey. And then she was driving a Mercedes-Benz at the age of 17, a 560 sports Mercedes-Benz. She has no worry. She didn't know how to make money, and she didn't even. You see, when she was sick, she went to a hospital at one time, and the parents visited her and said, "It's good to be sick, because if I'm not sick, my parents won't come from hometown to visit me. Now I'm sick, my parents are coming to see me, and that's very happy." She has always been in a rosy garden, but we know that as her life progresses, she will meet a lot of suffering, inevitable. Aging is suffering, sickness is suffering, death is suffering, departure from beloved ones, insatiable desires, and all this is suffering. Why am I talking about suffering now? I'm answering this question. How can I persevere through this discomfort? Just live with it. If all this painful depression, if a person is suffering from depression or fear or anxiety, when it comes in your meditation, or not only in the meditation, in daily life, what do? You become depressed. When you become depressed, you have fear, you have anxiety, you have discomfort, you're not comfortable. Because the mentality affects the physical. When you are in a depression, you don't feel comfortable. You can't say depression is just a mental thing and it doesn't affect your physical. That's not true. Depression can lead to insomnia. Depression can lead to pain, can lead to many, many things. So, what do? Depression comes usually, according to what some sutras say, live with it. Befriend with it. Don't hate it. Don't add hatred onto hatred. I hate my depression. Depression is already something not bad, not good, and you add on something, hatred to a depression. Just live with it. Befriend with it. Hey, here my friend is coming now. It's called depression. Hey, let's live together. Live with your depression. But don't let the depression swallow you up. You know he's your friend. You can't get rid of him. But you won't be influenced by him. Sure, you will be. But just live with it. And befriend with it. Don't hate it. Don't try to, I want to let go of it. I want to kick it out. This is depression. Especially some of your friends, and we say, you're in depression, it's easy. Just let go of that idea. You think it's easy to let go? When you have a depression, you cannot let it go so easily. To you don't have depression. You may say, just drop your depression. That depression, you just let go, let go, let go. Reverend Quan Chung said, let go. So let go. But you cannot let go. When the depression comes, you cannot let go. What do? Live with it. Befriend with it. Don't hate it. Just accept it. It doesn't kill you. It won't kill you. You won't die because of depression. Unless you hate your depression. Unless you feel so despair with your depression. You don't add another emotion onto emotion. A depression comes, all right, it's depression. My friend has come now. Let me just talk to my friend. My friend has come. I don't hate my friend. I don't love my friend, but if he comes, I just entertain his coming. He's coming. And when you are the relatives or friends of a person who is depressed, don't try to get all these theories to them. Some people, oh, my son, my daughter has depression, and then he tries to get all kinds of information from Google, pile up 2 inches of Google information about depression, study it, memorize it, and try to explain theories. He knows already. He knows all the theories. You don't have to explain it. He knows. He just needs someone who is listening to him, standing by his side, understand him, and go through the trouble with him. Spend your time with him. Not just to hear the information about depression. Study it. And then you know. No. You have to go out with him to have a coffee. You have to, if he wants to have a dinner, you go out with him with a dinner. And you enjoy your time with him or with her. And that could solve a problem. And then your mind, you know that he needs someone to talk to. He needs someone to express feelings about. Let it out. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. But this is from the sutras. Don't hate it. Don't add hatred. Don't love it. Love sometimes is not a splendid thing. You're attached to love. Love is related to many intricacies in previous lives. When the love comes, why not treat love sometimes as a responsibility? You have to be responsible to be a father for your kids. But if you blindly attach your love, you could be agonized if something comes up that is not right. You try your best. And don't agonize yourself with love. The more love you put into it, the more painful you will feel. So try to alienate from that. Love is a subjective experience. Stand back and look at this subjective experience. Whenever there's a subjective experience, it's your eyeglass getting tainted with subjectivity. You have to stand away from it and see this. And don't get carried away by it. But again, you cannot be irresponsible. Reverend Guan Chang said, you don't have to love your kids too much, so I don't have to be responsible for my kids. Not wrong, that's wrong. You have to be responsible as a responsible father, mother, and all that. But don't attach love so much. Don't agonize yourself, because your kids may not love you. When you love your kids so much and your kid hates you, you agonize yourself. Okay, that's all for this question. Second question. Dear Master, if the present does not exist, then the potential path of enlightenment doesn't exist. Thank you. Have you found the emptiness? How can you constantly rediscover it when you start meditation after interacting with the substantial world? All right, let's take this question bit by bit. It's a piecemeal question here. If the present doesn't exist, then the potential path of enlightenment doesn't exist. You are right. Enlightenment does not exist. How can you say enlightenment exists? Enlightenment exists because you are not enlightened. If you are enlightened, enlightenment does not exist. You know what I mean? There's no such thing as enlightenment. You don't even have to talk about it. The present does not exist. The future does not exist. The past does not exist. For that reason, you don't exist. What is you? What is me? What is me? I, right? I. When I say I identify everything as I, subjectively. This is subjective experience. This is me, this is I. I want to be that, I want to be this. What is this I? When you point to something as I, then you must be something that you can point to, right? If I is nothing, then how can you say I? What is this I? I is what? This body. There must be something you point to, you can call an I. If there's nothing to point to, what is it? So, what is this I? This body. This body and mind. What is this body and mind? What is existence? This body and mind exists. Existence involves two dimensions. Space and time. Right? Existence involves two dimensions, space and time. You're talking about time. Let's talk about time first. I talked about this before, but let's repeat it. It does not matter if I repeat it. What is time? Time is the past, the present, and the future. Time of the past, past time. Did the past exist? When we're talking about existence, existing now, the past is already gone. How can it exist? You cannot bring the past onto the present table and say, this exists. The past does not exist because it's gone. How can you bring back yesterday? How can you bring back last year? Past is gone. Does not exist, period. Time does not exist. Past does not exist because it's gone. How about the future? The future hasn't come yet. How can it exist now? The future has not come. Why do you worry about it? Why do you hang on to it? The future does not exist now. The future does not exist. Then how about the present? Every present, every second become a past. There's no present. The sentence that I uttered just a minute ago or 1 second ago is past. You cannot grasp onto the present. The present does not exist. So if the past doesn't exist, the future doesn't exist, the present doesn't exist, time is a delusion. Time exists because of your attachment. Time exists because of this delusion. We are living in the delusion of the dream of existence. Time does not exist. So if time does not exist, what is enlightenment? Is it enlightenment of the past? If you're talking about enlightenment of the past, that means you're not enlightened now because past is enlightenment. If you're talking about future enlightenment, the future enlightenment hasn't come. So how can there be an existence of a future enlightenment? If you're talking about your present enlightenment, you are still existing as an individual sentient being. You are not enlightened. How can there be enlightenment now? So enlightenment does not exist. Not only is enlightenment does not exist, our body does not exist now. Talking about space, what is this body? This body is it's a combination of 36 categories. 12 on the outside features, 12 in the internal organs, and 12 in the in-between. All these are organs put together, and we call it a body. Right now there's an AI that says a robot. A robot is robot a body? We are like a living robot. It's all conditions put together, then we act accordingly. And this robot has to die out. How can you call existence if it only appears for a short time? It's a delusion of experience. This body is a conglomeration of all the conditions put together. If for 5 minutes I squeeze my nostrils and I don't have oxygen, I don't exist, quote unquote, in the name of existence. So my body exists based on the condition of enough oxygen. My body exists based on the conditions of 7 days with water. My body exists based on the conditions. I have enough day for 41 days. So all these is a temporary coming together of all the conditions. And when the conditions don't fulfill, I'm dead. But I attach this body. I cheat because of this body. I commit sexual misconduct. I lie. I steal. I hunt. I kill because of this temporary existence. And for that reason, I'm building up a lot of karma. And with this kind of karma, I roll into the next life for a renewed, delusive existence. So thank you very much. The enlightenment does not exist. Enlightenment does not exist, but we need enlightenment. If we go to Victoria, we take the BC ferry, Sunshine Coast, Horseshoe Bay. When we arrive at Victoria, we got to leave the boat. We got to leave the ferry. We cannot depend on enlightenment. When we enlighten, we throw away the Buddha's teaching. You don't attach to the teaching anymore. When you arrive at Victoria, you got to leave the ship. You cannot rely on the ship, but you need the ship to go to Victoria. But you don't attach to the ship. You need the ship, you don't attach to it. And the ship only exists conditionally, based on all these conditions that come true for you to get onto the ship. Oh, I briefly answered the second part of the questions. Have you found emptiness? Emptiness is nowhere to be found. Where do I find emptiness? What is emptiness? Emptiness is not to find it. When I meditate, I'm not finding. In meditation, you're not finding something. You're giving up. You're giving up. When you're meditating, you're giving up your jealousy, your hatred, your greediness. You're giving up your ignorance. You're giving up. I don't want to find anything. I want to lose things. I don't want to get things. So have you found emptiness? No. I don't want to find emptiness. It stinks. I don't want to find it. I don't want to find emptiness. How can you constantly rediscover? I don't want to discover, not to say rediscover. When you start meditating after interacting with the substantial world, I don't want to interact. Hopefully, I don't want to interact with emotion, with the substantial world. However, because I have a body, I need to respond to the substantial world. So I don't have any emptiness. I don't have any enlightenment. And I'm not discovering anything. So who am I? I don't know. You tell me. Okay, that's all.